by the lift.
Dumped out of the Champions League, and next for Manchester United, it's Derby Day. Tottenham are top after disposing of their local rivals. They're in South London this weekend to face Crystal Palace. And what next for Arsenal after their worst ever start to a Premier League season? They're back at the Emirates for the visit of Burnley. There's also a West Midlands derby on Saturday, as well as Frank Lampard facing his former boss with Chelsea at Everton, and 5 more games on Sunday, including Sheffield United chasing a first win of the season.
Grandmaster Pep Guardiola is ready for his latest strategic battle at Old Trafford.
Let's play.
In 2016, he made his move quickly, king of the castle on his rival's patch.
First blood, Guardiola, 15 minutes into his first derby.
United did all they could to keep City in check.
United 2-0 down, 3-2 up on hostile territory.
But Guardiola's men clocked up 2 Premier League titles, tormenting their neighbours along the way.
Blue pierces red, and City are on top of the league.
Last season, though, red beat blue, the Norwegian outmanoeuvring the Catalan.
Solskjaer's day to look to paradise and say, I've done the double over the neighbours.
Not the end game, but the next game. Will Pep get revenge?
Every game you are able to win is so complicated, it's so difficult. And every time we are able to do it, it's a big compliment. I don't want it to celebrate the good moments if you win or don't win in May. So in the process, every time we win, that night we celebrate and think for the next day or 2 days later.
I'm a Manchester United fan, so I'm going to want to say Manchester is red. Hopefully I'll be saying that after this weekend's games, but I think it's going to be, a difficult game for both teams. I think, both are kind of in a similar spot right now, a little bit inconsistent, have quality players, but you don't quite know what you're going to get on any given day. So Pep has had to manage this season, as opposed to, they can't just keep going out. Yes, they have a lot of money, but you can't just keep going to buy players. I think you have to always think Manchester City are going to win the league because they have good enough players. I think they're going to be in and around there.
Manchester City are currently 6 points off the top with a game in hand. But they do have a key piece back in contention. Sergio Aguero, who scored in midweek, might give his team the edge. In the Premier League era, only Wayne Rooney has struck more goals in the Manchester derby. The Argentine could make it into double figures against the old enemy. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United have a point more than City. They've made a habit of winning from losing positions this season. But on Tuesday night in Leipzig, that gambit didn't work. They couldn't mount a comeback from 3-0 down and were knocked out of the Champions League at the group stage.
The focus has just been on this game and the Manchester derby, which is what you want the players to get onto straight away. That's probably the best game that you can ask for after such a disappointment, because it does stick in your system.
I think the biggest problem we have is the inconsistency. But when you have inconsistent players, guess what you get? Inconsistency. And I think that's been our biggest problem, because I don't think Solskjaer knows his best 11. We're playing with Fred and McTominay, 2 defensive midfielders, but are they good enough to take Manchester United to that next level? From what I can see and from what I've heard, the players love Paul Pogba. I just don't think it's worked out for him at Manchester United. I played at Juventus for 2 years nearly. They love him in Turin, they really do. Some of the goals and the way he was playing, it was like we expected him to do that for Manchester United. I do think Pogba's been given his fair amount of opportunities, under different managers. I don't think he's ever had a good run of form. For me, I'm an attacking-minded player and an attacking-minded person that I hope that Solskjaer goes out there and tries to win the game. I want to see Donny van de Beek playing. I want to see Bruno there. I want to see Cavani. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully Manchester will be red after the game.
Manchester, for all its depth and breadth, split with stark and searing simplicity into 2, red and blue.
Crystal Palace. It's a special club. A place where dreams are made. The heart of South London. If you go to somewhere like West London, they've got Fulham and they've got Chelsea. We're here in South London, but Crystal Palace is in the heart and the middle of Croydon. And Palace have got a lot of fans around there in South London. You'll always see a lot of fans wanting to support Crystal Palace. It's a tight-knit group and there's a great togetherness. And it's a family. It's a family football community, and that's what I like about Crystal Palace. When you talk about Crystal Palace, the first name that comes on your lips is Wilfried Zaha, but he deserves it. He's a special footballer. He's done it the hard way. He's come through the academy and he's now showing all of his ability in the first team. He didn't play in the 2 games, and Palace struggled to create a chance or even score a goal. He comes back and he manages to score 2 goals and make an assist as well.
Zaha, that's brilliant. The perfect return to the first team for Crystal Palace's star man.
Roy has done a good job at Crystal Palace, but fans do get frustrated because if you look at the attacking options that Crystal Palace have, they really should be scoring more goals. Beating Leeds 4-1, then beating West Brom 5-1. There is goals in this team, and the attacking option that Palace have, they should really be scoring more goals because they've got some exciting players.
We have a lot of games coming up now. It's 6 games in December. That's a lot of games for a team like us. For teams like the Champions League ones, they're quite used to playing 6 games a month. But for us, we aren't. So I think that will open up the opportunity for other players to get a look in, because I don't seriously think it's going to be possible for us to play the same 11 week in, week out.
I think Jose is back. He's got that happy smile on his face. Obviously, they had a great result on Sunday in the North London derby against Arsenal.
Son, Kane, the king of the manor.
I think he wants to prove a few people wrong. A lot of people said, would his style of football really work in the Premier League? Because it's evolved. Other managers have obviously evolved. You've got Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. He wants to put himself against the best. And I think slowly but surely, Jose, he is doing that. And there'll be no man who will want to win the Premier League more than Jose Mourinho.
There's definitely a special feeling back at Spurs. Supporters have returned, attractive football's made a long overdue comeback, and perhaps silverware might follow. After Palace, the leaders are at Anfield to face the champions, and Mourinho's been named manager of the month.
It's about the results that we had in November. It's not about me, it's about the team. If it was about me, it would have to be the coaching staff of the month. So many matches. Do we need to make rotations? Of course we need. It's impossible for a player to play all these matches with short period of time. Of course we need to do it.
Palace like to sit back and play on the counter-attack. Jose likes to sit back also and play on the counter-attack. But I think against teams that they should expect to beat, Tottenham will be on the front foot and they will come out and play their style of football. It'll be a difficult game, and Jose will know it'll be a difficult game because just going to Selhurst Park is always difficult. Fans in particular, Palace fans are one of the best, I think, in the Premier League. But it's a bit sad, obviously, there's not going to be fans. There will be 2,000 fans, and they'll make enough noise to pack that stadium out, that's for sure, because of playing there for many years at Selhurst Park. It's a hard place to go, so it'll be a good atmosphere, and it's so glad now you can see fans starting slowly but surely to get back into the grounds.
Leicester City, top of their group in the Europa League and top 4 in the Premier League. The Foxes are a force to be reckoned with, as is Jamie Vardy, whose goals often win matches, as at Bramall Lane last week when he scored his 9th of the league campaign. Brendan Rodgers does have a problem in defence, though. Leicester have conceded 6 times from corners this season. Rectify that, and they'll stand a better chance of qualifying for Europe's top tier.
Last year we were in a great position for a lot of the season, and then disappointing end for that. So it's something we've definitely learnt from. We took different parts out of that, and I think this year we're looking to avoid the mistakes that we made last year. Like I said, we started the season really well. We've got so many games, it's coming so thick and fast.
Brighton might well be looking beyond this one. They play Fulham and Sheffield United after Leicester. The unfortunate defeat at home to Southampton means they've managed just one victory in their last 9 games, and they've never won at the King Power in the Premier League. Last season's goalless draw, their best return so far.
What a peculiar few months for Everton. They earned their spurs in the early weeks, but the previous Premier League leaders now have just one win from their last 7 games. At least some consistency has been maintained by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, though. His latest goal last week against Burnley made it 11 in as many league matches. Next is Chelsea, a team who have been pretty handy in front of goal themselves and unbeaten in almost 3 months.
If you look at our next 4 games, Everton, we'll go to Wolves, we have West Ham, we have Arsenal on Boxing Day. And you see exactly how challenging that is in a short space of time, because they all are really strong teams. So it's important for focus, it's important for the squad to understand that this Premier League is so tough and so unforgiving that if we drop our standards, we won't be where we want to be.
The Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says Chelsea are the favourites to win the league. They're currently 2 points behind the leaders Tottenham. Hakim Ziyech and Callum Hudson-Odoi will both miss the trip to Goodison Park as Frank Lampard tries to outwit the man he used to call boss.
Leeds United's return to the Premier League was greeted with excitement and expectation. A big club with a proud history and a respected manager in Marcelo Bielsa. To start with, they lived up to the hype.
Patrick Bamford has done it. It's a magnificent hat-trick. And Villa's 100% record in the league this season is ripped to shreds by Leeds United.
Since then, though, they've only picked up 4 points from a possible 15 and have dropped from 6th to 14th. They're leaking goals. Only Fulham and West Brom have conceded more this season. And now first-choice centre-back Robin Koch will be out for up to 3 months after knee surgery.
Obviously, it's a big miss for us. You know, anyone who's out for a certain amount of time, you know, is always a big miss for us because we use every player in this squad. Every player is important for us, and, you know, to miss someone like Robin, who's a great guy, as well as a good footballer, is, you know, it's a big miss for us.
For West Ham too, there have been some big misses, and that despite 5 wins from their 11 matches so far. Since the turn of the year, no side in the Premier League has dropped more points from winning positions.
Fornals now! Oh. So close, Pablo Fornals, denied by the post.
That chance would have handed the Hammers a 2-0 lead against Manchester United. Instead, they lost 3-1, a case study of frustration. Nonetheless, 8th place represents a solid start.
We know that the Premier League is a tough league, and we know that every team is difficult. Every game is different, but the difficulty is the same. The high performance every game, and we try to keep that and try to get the result.
Moyes will still be without Michail Antonio this weekend after the striker suffered a recurrence of his hamstring injury. Andriy Yarmolenko, though, is in line to return, having recovered from coronavirus. Tottenham remain in the lead, but Liverpool trail on goal difference alone. Chelsea and Leicester are 3rd and 4th, with both Manchester clubs in the top half of the table. Sheffield United are beginning to look stranded, the Blades still winless. West Brom and Burnley make up the bottom 3, with Fulham just above. And the Cottagers face Jurgen Klopp's resilient Reds. Injuries and absentees haven't stopped Liverpool scoring. Scott Parker's side preparing for an onslaught.
Two chicken shish.
No.
Lamb kofta.
No.
Doner kebab.
I'm a vegan.
Wherever there's rugby, we'll be there.
At Allbirds, we like to keep things nice and natural. So to demonstrate the incredible lightness of our shoes, we skipped the Hollywood special effects and set up a few strategically placed electric leaf blowers. Oh, we should also mention they're soft and cosy and make great prezzies.
Tis the season to feel glad. Is there a friendship to be had? No, this is Lidl's Christmas ad. Delicious free-range turkey and jumbo with branding. A moving family dinner, that value is outstanding. Who needs cutesy characters with award-winning Christmas fun? The price is good.
It's a magical time
Proper
of year.
Christmas magic, kissing cake and sausage in. Big on a Christmas, you can believe in.
Here it is, lads. Massive fixture.
It's a naughty on this, Rob.
This is going to be a good old-fashioned dust-up.
No chance. These are weird, aren't they, these?
How about that from Jack Grealish?
Neto and Foden's 2-0.
Are you guys ready? Because we are.
Hello?
The gloom around Arsenal is growing. It wasn't meant to be like this. We're almost 12 months into Mikel Arteta's reign, but the Gunners have experienced their worst start to a league season in 39 years.
I know it's so frustrating. I am the first one to be frustrating. I have to support the players, keep training, keep fighting and keep going. There's no any other way.
The problems are coming faster than the solutions for Arsenal. They're 15th in the table, 11 games in, and 11 points behind the unmentionable leaders. The statistics shed some light on their situation. Only the bottom three have scored fewer goals than Arteta's side. The attacking swagger of Arsenal teams of yesteryear has disappeared.
It's very difficult for the team at the moment. Very low on confidence, very low in respects of chances created for forwards. We don't seem to have that midfield player that progresses the ball. I feel that when that doesn't happen, it doesn't seem to be that we've got an easier solution.
But while Arsenal's issues are collective, there is one player whose struggles are particularly striking. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang had fewer touches than any other player that started the game against Spurs, and not a single shot on target. He was the club's leading scorer last season with 22 goals, but in the current campaign, he's managed only 2. Yet it's hard to steer a car in the right direction if the engine is spluttering.
What you do as a striker when you're going through a period like Aubameyang's going through at the moment is you just try and do the same things, what got you the goals in the first place. But at the same time, you do need the ball. You need the ball to be put where Arsenal were putting the ball in at the start of the season and he was scoring, because he's one of those goal scorers. He's a great goal scorer that only needs half a chance.
There have been a lot of games, and the one especially that we have played at home, that the small details have made a huge difference. But at the end of the day, we haven't scored enough goals. And without doing that, we cannot win enough football matches. It's as simple as that.
What Arsenal can hang on to, though, is their results in Europe. The Gunners finished top of their Europa League group with a 100% record. But it's Burnley next, who are on a rebuilding mission of their own.
This will be Brady who will hit it, and what a hit it is! Maybe they are starting to find their feet in this Premier League campaign.
With 5 points from their past 4 league games, optimism is an active emotion again at Turf Moor. The Clarets remain in the bottom 3, though, after the 1-1 draw with Everton. And like Arsenal, the problem has been a lack of goals. No team in the top flight this season has scored fewer.
I think we've been unlucky in certain games. And I feel like, the points don't reflect how we've played. I think now, we've started to put good performances together. And, we keep believing in ourselves, what we do, the work we do, that we, hopefully these games will turn into wins and we'll move up the table.
To depart the bottom three this weekend, Burnley will need to create their own piece of history. They've not claimed a single Premier League point away at Arsenal, but the Gunners aren't firing, so this might be Burnley's chance to shoot for the stars.
It's official. Sheffield United have made the worst start to a Premier League campaign ever and the worst opening to a top-flight campaign since Newcastle back in 1977. It's been devastating.
The Sheffield Wednesday fan scores against Sheffield United. Chris Wilder, crestfallen.
That last-minute defeat at home to Leicester was particularly heartbreaking, leaving Blades boss Chris Wilder feeling punished and hurt and admitting he was worried. Next up, a trip to Southampton, who are back to a full complement of players with the scoring return of Danny Ings.
Here goes Ings, and he does the job, and Southampton have come from behind to lead.
It was the Saints' sixth victory of the campaign. They're only a point outside the top four. With fans back in the stands, the team will be eager to give their patient supporters even more to cheer about.
The current focus for Wolves is on coming together for a missing member of the pack. Raul Jimenez has started his recovery from a fractured skull, while his teammates are adjusting to what will be a lengthy period without him. Liverpool swept Wolves aside at Anfield last week. It's now 1 win in 4 for Nuno Espirito Santo's side. Visitors Aston Villa, though, should be fresh. Their match against Newcastle United last week was postponed, so they're yet to play in December, but have lost 4 of their last 5.
There's only one game this season that we've played that I believed we deserved to get beat, which was Leeds. Consistency is the key, and it's what I keep saying to the players about their standards. They set it with the start of the season with how we kicked off the season. Liverpool, Arsenal in between them games, and they've got to live up to them standards now.
Villa lost both league matches against Wolves last season by the odd goal, and this could be another gripping local derby.
After days of speculation, Newcastle United will play West Brom at St James's Park this weekend. Steve Bruce's men can now build on their impressive win at Crystal Palace 2 weeks ago. The Magpies had their trip to Villa Park postponed after a spate of positive COVID-19 tests among the first-team squad, and some players are still unavailable.
You want to remain a little bit confidential and respect their privacy a bit. And, you know, I think it's only right that I keep the numbers. But look, it was a significant number of people in a group, which is a tight-knit group, you know, so we will be without a big chunk of players tomorrow, that's for sure.
Having secured their first win of the campaign the previous week, West Brom sustained a significant blow last time out, beaten 5-1 by the Eagles. With just 6 points on the board, the Baggies will be hoping their hosts lost some momentum during their enforced break.
Fulham have had some heady days in the Premier League, 4 top 10 finishes, European campaigns, and the club are now modernising their West London residency in preparation for making this division their permanent home.
The stadium is an iconic ground. I mean, I loved playing here. I love coming here. It's got such a feel about it. The history that's here, these seats. Yes, it's not the most modern stadium. However, the new stand is going to go a long way into improving and mixing that old with new. It's been a really tough start to the season for them. We all know the Premier League is so much tougher than playing in the Championship. You know, every little mistake that you make, more often than not, you get punished. I think Fulham are more in a position right now to look at themselves and think, OK, are we one of the 3 worst teams in the league? I think they're in the sort of the bottom 5. If they want to have any chance to stay in this league, they need to try and get a couple of players with a lot of Premier League experience. Do I think they'll stay up? January is key, and it's in the balance at the moment. Lookman's come back into the Premier League, he's more of a winger, a provider, as opposed to an out-and-out goal scorer. Ivan Cavallero, really highly regarded at a young age. This is his opportunity. Loftus-Cheek, I'm a big fan of. I was there at Chelsea with him when he was coming through as a young kid. Just hope that now is his opportunity to stay fit.
And Lookman's away here for Fulham and puts it in the corner. And we have a real upset here.
Leicester City was a game that nobody gave him a chance of getting a result from. That would have given him a huge boost. I think the performance at Manchester City was a pretty good one. Overall, it wasn't like they were bombarded, they weren't overrun. I think he's done a tremendous job. His learning curve was very, very steep. But we're in the Premier League now, and it's a very different experience, and he knows it as an ex-player, but now he's finding out what the demands are like as a manager. He's got to be trying to set up to try and get something out of the game. You've got to look at ways of trying to cause Liverpool problems, trying to get a result against Liverpool.
There's no denying we're playing up against probably, and arguably, one of the best teams was been in England probably for the last, and in Europe for the last 18 months. So big challenge ahead of us, which we know. But like last week when we had a massive challenge against Man City, we're going to the game wanting to try and cause Liverpool some problems.
The first goal that the Liverpool fans are back in Anfield to celebrate, and Liverpool are going back, John, top of the table.
100% they're still the team to beat, without a doubt. What they're proving now is that they've got a very strong squad. I thought they'd been so fortunate with regards to injuries up until this season, and this is the season where it's really hit them. To lose players of the calibre of Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Alisson's out now. It's so difficult to replace players of that calibre, but Liverpool have been able to do it. That is a sign of a side that has an enormous amount of confidence, self-belief, and a strong squad. Liverpool are still, for me, are in the box seat. They are still the favourites to win the title. I can imagine that Jurgen Klopp's gone in there and gone, if we can win it when the fans are there, that's going to just top everything. I think Jordan Henderson is really key for them. To have him back inside, not only for his footballing ability, but his leadership qualities, is huge. The biggest threat's going to be that counter-attack. The way that Liverpool are set up, whether they've got Salah, Mane, Jota or Firmino on their side, they can destroy any team very, very quickly.
Fulham is a really good football playing side, and was not the performances they showed were not all rewarded with results. Let me say it like this, but the fight for staying in the league is a tight one as well, and so each point helps us, and they will go for everything. And if you let them play, they will play.
I think they can get something out of the game. Firstly, they've got to defend as a team really well. The whole 11 have to defend, and they have to defend their socks off the entire game. They're going to have to work as a unit. They're going to have to bide their time, and then when given an opportunity, they've got to take it. Everyone knows that all the odds are against them, but there have been many teams that have caused upsets in the past, so why can't this Fulham side do the same thing?
There's a lot of action coming your way. The festive fixture frenzy's upon us. The Manchester derby on Saturday's definitely one to put in your diary. Carlo Ancelotti faces his former club Chelsea later. Then 3 nights of midweek football. There's a top-of-the-table tussle at Anfield on Wednesday when Liverpool face Tottenham. The same night also sees that capital clash in East London, West Ham versus Crystal Palace. It kicked off in mid-September. It kicks on in mid-December. By this point, teams have found their spirit and are ready to leap into this jam-packed period with full intensity. As 2020 approaches its close, the title contenders are preparing to make their move. They're aiming for English football's crown. The players are on target, the managers are up for the challenge, and the preview team will keep you up to speed. From Chris Wise and me, Izzy Clark, goodbye.
Hi.